Oh, well, this was nicer than I expected. Well, maybe the Merovingian isn't really gonna fuck with us after all. Oh, Neo, that light is gonna take a lot to repair. Well, that's a little bit more weird, but okay, we've seen more strange things in the Matrix before. I'm sure when we open this door we won't... Whoa. Holy Jiminy Jillikers. This is... MC Esher's wet dream. Check this freaky ass place out, man. So, yes, for those of you wondering where we are, and trust me, I'm sure you are, this is the, distorted dimensions of the Matrix. This level is trippy, messed up, and it's a kind of level design that I've only ever seen in DMC Devil May Cry. Yeah, for as much as people shit on that game, this is the kind of design that I'm looking for in a Matrix video game. I want to see more of this, should any other Matrix video games come out, because this is just trippy and cool, man. I mean, seriously, you can just... This is basically a twisted variant of the, well, little house area we were in. And honestly, this is I'm just in awe of this entire place. I apologize for my lack of commentary, but really... To some, they might just see it as, okay, this is just trippy level design that will no doubt frustrate the player, but to me, this level design is beautiful. But as you can see, there are many doors littered around the place, and you have to locate the right one. This will show you where to locate them. So, just enter through here, and we will awaken onto the other side.
Lucky me. Get this bastard off my ass. I'll make it up to you. Oh, by the way, they hate fire.
And welcome back. Well, for me, welcome back anyway. Yes, we are fighting... Is this space ants? Nice going there, dipshit. But yes, these are the Merovingian's hounds, shall we say. I did say that the Dobermen or the vampires we were fighting before were the hounds, but I'm not really too sure on that. But honestly, man, I would even like to see this kind of creature design in the Matrix as well, because, you know, the Matrix, as the Oracle had stated before, with, you know, ghosts, vampires, and aliens, you know, this is the kind of thing I want to see, some trippy and fucked up shit. But of course, as the key had previously hinted at, these ants hate fire, so... Naturally, you grab the fire staffs and kick the shit out of them, because normal attacks, as is being demonstrated here, will not work on this creature for some reason. You'd think that breaking a couple of limbs would have done something, but hey. Now also, to unlock these things, you basically need to use your, well, telekinesis, and just move the blocks off the thing while standing onto the... doorway. Excuse me. Now, if you'll notice that when you use code vision that the doors are red, they are not the right doors to use, because you will just disappear into the code vision and just reappear into some random place in this area. However, for as much praising as I do give this area, I will admit this will probably have a lot of players kind of frustrated and, well, lost, which many might see as a detriment, but honestly, just for safekeeping, I would recommend that you at least have a guide out for this area, because you will get lost, and as cool as the level design is, I can understand some people's frustration with such level design. Which I suppose in turn is also attributed to the fact that, well, it's just a very samey looking area, despite its influences. Of course, you do still have health and focus littered about, but weirdly enough, they're kind of, well, for the most part, they're changed up, because Later on in the section, you'll see that some health and focus power-ups are demonstrated by cars. For some reason, I never really understood why. Because you shouldn't really lose health in this, unless of course you're fighting the fire ants, or if you're having significant trouble with them. But in any case, here's a secret, which a lot of the secrets in this level are probably some of the hardest to find, because considering the dimensions of this place, you know, much to the level's name, you kind of have to look in some very herky-jerk places, which is really bothersome. But alas, we find the door. Actually, I kind of have to wonder, like, what this place is to the Merovingian, like, what kind of souls he would have just traveling across this place, and, you know, just who he essentially traps here, because I can only imagine that the Merovingian, being as powerful as he is, would have, you know, pocket dimensions of hell, and just personalized torture for people, because considering who he has locked up, like the Keymaker, and probably all kinds of rogue programs who are under his control, I'm honestly curious. Which is honestly why I would like some more expanded material on the programs of the Matrix, like, I mean, you know, to satisfy the people who don't care about all the religious symbolisms, like, Neo is Jesus. Praise him. I am the David Cage. I create life with the art. You know, I think a focus dedicated to the programs would be a lot more interesting. I don't know, like maybe they could have like a second Animatrix to detail that. Even a TV series. I mean, the Wachowski sisters, as they're known now, are currently doing Sense8, but honestly, I'd kind of like to see what they could do with more of the programs in the Matrix, which would be pretty cool. Or at least from my end, anyway. And that was my little jump cut slash transition thing, just to add a little bit more life to this. And this is the exit, which I kind of wanted to jump cut to because, well, it probably would have made for some pretty poor commentary if I just left everything up to exploring, which I think if you wanted to play the game for yourself, you'd probably already have done that. So anyway, off to the next area where we explore through a labyrinth of labyrinthiness. And we meet up with a key again in this section. I probably won't mute my commentary this time since, well, it's still mid-gameplay and we have fire ants to defeat, who also have a really annoying teleport, which is pretty annoying. However, we can use our telekinesis to, well, get hit, I guess. Oh, excuse me. And take this. Ooh, yeah, and these ants hurt like a bitch, as you can probably see. But of course, staff combos work quite well on them, and that is if you have the focus to pull them off. The key should reveal herself eventually, but I think you have to defeat these two and then two more fire ants come out, and it's just basically playing the waiting game, really. Which I guess can also get quite boring, but then again I don't want to leave a lot of this out because, honestly, I do genuinely enjoy this level. But I suppose I kind of pay the price for having, you know, commentary when there's devoid of any. Well, speaking of commentaries though, like I think I have gotten significantly better since the last one I did, which was plagued with audio issues up the arse, but this one seems to be going pretty smoothly. In fact, in terms of future commentaries, I plan on, or at least someday, doing the first Assassin's Creed game, because there's a movie coming out which doesn't, well, at least from what I've heard anyway, doesn't seem to be following the path of the first game, which is kind of weird considering the fact that it's apparently going to be 85%, you know, the future storyline, which is weird because everybody hated that when Assassin's Creed 1 did it. And it's going to be like, I think it was either 25% or like 5% stuff in the past, which is completely baffling when you consider the fact that people were like, yeah, we don't care about the future storyline, so let's just cheaply write out Desmond Miles from the plot. And then let's just include more stuff from the 1800s because that's the best era rather than, you know, the more interesting parts of the Crusades because, honestly, and this might just be my nostalgia for AC1 talking, but that actually got me into learning more about the Crusades and a bunch of everything about, like, Salah ad-Din and King Richard and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, it's a period of history that was quite interesting. But alas, I'll save my Assassin's Creed tangents for when I get to the actual game itself, because that game is seriously, like, it's quite underrated considering that it's overshadowed by 2. But I'll get to Assassin's Creed sometime this year, because I do plan to review it at some stage. In fact, it may even be sooner than you think. Like, maybe 2 or 3 months from now. As if the hint couldn't come soon enough. I don't know, I should probably remain silent like a certain hill I know of. But then again, I suppose that's just the precursor to the legacy of Assassin's Creed. Am I being heavy-handed right now? I sure am. Oh, you handsome devil, you. Like Handsome Ansem from Kingdom Hearts. Oh, good. Now, the weird thing is that you know that the ants are just about to die when you see them turn into that little dust cloud there, which is kind of confusing considering the fact that... Are they just made of, like, particles of code or something? In fact, why weren't they green, or is, like, red matrix code indicative of evil Merovingian? I don't know. It's just one of those things, I guess. Either way, it's susceptible to fire, like all things in life, and so they die, except when they turn into Sonic the Hedgehog briefly, by turning into a ball.
Found it. See you around.
Alrighty, we are finally free of this place. So long, ant-eating bitches. Whatever. Yeah, isn't too long to go now. There's only really 3 or 4 sections of this distorted dimensions to really go, so... I suppose the relative directionlessness is probably what frustrates people more than the fact that it's long. Honestly though, I don't think you should really have too much trouble because there are only so many doors and... yeah, you'll find it eventually. Although, being gathered around a fire pit, dealing with the ants in this level should probably be no problem since you can just toss them into the fire, which is quite satisfying. But of course, attacking them with your fist does nothing, and you are in serious danger of dying if you let them swarm you, so the smartest thing to do is just run away, and hopefully you'll live. Because if not, the Merovingian will have won. And I gotta say though, just before I continue, the exit to this place is very, very fucking sneaky. It's right above the place where you first start. It's not this one, but it is very, very sneaky. Because it's right above you, which leads you to a door, which then leads you to another door, which then leads you to the door, which is the way out, which then leads you to another door, which is the real way out. Way out? Is this confusing? Because these dimensions are distorted. And off we go! Off to dimensions unseen and worlds never explored. Honestly though, I would advise caution into checking the doors because some of them can lead you to some really fucked up places. Like this for example, like I'm pretty sure if you are quite careless, you will be led to a door which will trap you into this room where you have to fight a bunch of fire ants and really, it is not fun. But if you can see over there, I believe that is the exit, and then you shall be free of the distorted dimensions. Actually, you'll be led into a hallway, which will then lead you to the distorted dimensions. I hope this will probably act as a guide for some people, because that level is quite painful. Yeah, this is it. The end of Neo's time in the distorted dimensions. Oh. Did Shiny Entertainment just steal this from Red Dwarf? Again, I don't know how many people watch the actual show, but I'm pretty sure there was an episode called Better Than Life, which had like a really long hallway with a bunch of doors just like this, and then they reached the beachside. And then I'm gonna probably just reveal my more nerdiness by speaking of that, but honestly, this is quite similar. Albeit kinda cool, but still, I have to wonder if this is some kind of homage to that. And so ends one of my favourite sequences in the game. So, I am Skully, keep it new metal, and I'll see you next time in the Matrix Part of the Neo commentary. Take care.